Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man. I'm getting back in football mode. I'm getting psyched up. I was just at the Taliaferro Classic on Thursday, so we wanted to talk some football this week.
That'd be great.
You still there?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm aware of that game. We had the All-Shore game the same night.
Right.
And it kind of, I guess when they start those games, it's to end something, but I think it's turned into starting something. And I think it does get everybody refocused on high school football and reward a lot of the seniors for their high school careers. They're very well done.
I'm ready to get out there, start covering training camp, but I got to wait about 6 weeks.
Yep. Well, you can go. If you hit the schools, the kids are in the weight room, so
I'm sure. Yeah,
you can get in there and you can get in there and get a good feel for what's coming up.
Do you ever miss it, Coach? I mean, at some point you got to retire, but I'm sure this time of year you kind of get that itch to get out there on the field, right?
Yeah, I think you do. I think as you get older and more experienced coaching, it's more of the seasons and segments, and everybody starts in January, and you have a certain type of lifting you're doing, and the spring comes and you change your lifting a little bit, start running more, and then the summertime it's start to work on the foot techniques and all those kind of things. So there's really there's really no time that you're not involved somehow with the next season. So it's a lot different than being a fan and having to sit and wait. You're almost wish some of those parts of the season lasted a little longer so you could get some other things accomplished. But I mean, I don't think about that. But obviously, there's a lot more time behind and in front, so it won't be long.
Coach, you started your career in 1974. How much has high school football changed, and what kind of things remain the same?
Oh man, there has been a lot of both. The question is, it would take hours to answer. I think kids still want discipline. I think kids still want to be part of something. I think kids want to feel that they've got a shot. I think kids feel like they want to get something out of the time invested. And I think the game teaches the same things it's always taught. People have tried to change the game. A lot of people have tried to do things that make the sport better. I was always a fan of September 1st practice, the old days, and that certainly didn't change. Kids have to give up their summer now, at least at the halfway point. Before there was always lifting involved, maybe 6 hours a week or something like that. I'm going back into the 70s, and now with practice start, I mean, we open Labor Day weekend. I mean, your shore school, you got kids working. We have to start practice the week of the 7th of August. So we're talking, compared to September 1st to August the 7th, those kind of things have changed. I think the safety of the game, I think the game has improved from a safety standpoint. I think that the hours that you have to put in, the radio, the time that you have to put in from a kid's standpoint, I don't think from a coach's standpoint it's changed, but from a kid's standpoint it has. And like I say, safety issues and bigger concerns with concussions. And I think the other thing is, I think there's a lot of people that are afraid of the game now. Parents that are afraid of the game, and because of that, I think a lot of things have changed. The amount of contact that you have, physical contact that you have, and you still have to make an emphasis on proper tackling technique. There's been a lot of changes, but I would say for me it's been an easy adjustment. Most of the things have made sense, And it's been really something. I mean, somebody told me the other day, 5 decades. That's a long time.
It is.
That's a long time. You don't think of it that way, but there certainly has been, numerous changes, and I think a lot for the better.
Coach, I guess one thing that never really changes is that the whole pomp and circumstance surrounding the Friday nights. You got the band showing up early, the cheerleaders, parents, little kids playing football on the side of the field there, and these kids, these high school football players, they still get looked up to by the little kids, by the cheerleaders, by everybody involved with the team as sort of almost like cult heroes a little bit. And that's one of the cool things about high school football is that never changes. I mean, every Friday night, everywhere you go throughout the country is the same thing, and it's been going on for decades.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I mean, I can go back and I can name my, Pete Padley and Billy Betts, and I can name guys that I remember from the 50s going to high school games, and I had an uncle that took me all over the place in Delaware County and Philadelphia. And we would go to a Saturday morning game, we'd go to a Saturday afternoon game, and on Sunday the Catholic League played. And I was exposed to the game like that, so they were all heroes. They were all, what you wanted to be. And that's why we're so careful with the kids and make sure the kids coming up realize that people are looking up to them, the way they act on the field, the way they act on the sideline, the way they in the hallways at school, all those kind of things are so important. And then I think the other thing is there's been so much glamour from so much football on TV that has gone down to the high school level. And I mean, when I started, it was all daytime football. There was no nights,
right?
And then in the 80s, the nights came back, which I think was a good thing. And then, like anything else, you want to put on, you want the cheerleaders and the energy, and you want the band, and you want the student sections, and all of the things that they see on television. And I think that's the tremendous motivator. I don't know of anything in high school that is more electric than Friday night football. And when you get rivalries, back and forth, that adds that much more to it. Our place at Southern is just a fantastic place to see a football game. I mean, energy level is sight. We have real grass. It's really well taken care of. The teams we play bring big crowds and a lot of energy, and that's what the game has become. I think the one thing that has changed is the number of kids that run on the field. The numbers. You can see that programs used to have 80 now have 60. Teams used to have 60 now have 40, and for some of the things that we talked about before, suddenly. That to me is the change, and people don't realize, they get caught up in all of that, and they don't realize how physical and violent the game is on the field. It looks something different than it that really is. So the kids have to prepare as hard as they ever did. I think the speed of the game and the strength of the game has changed, but there's nothing like Friday night, especially when you win.
Coach, what's more difficult, dealing with high school football players or trying to raise your son, Chuck Donohue Jr.?
I think he's been his own man. He's really done a tremendous job. I know you guys have spoken to him on many occasions.
Sure, yeah.
We've had a very successful athletic program over the years, and he's been involved for about seven years in that. I would say my wife Violet is the one that affected him. I had him around with me all the time. That's the one thing I'll say. I took him, back in the St. Joe days. I always had him in the car. We were living in Atlantic City at the time, so there was a commute and I had an old Volkswagen camper, and used to throw him in the back. No seat belts or nothing in those days. Just throw him in the back, and he would run around. So at a very early age, he was exposed to, athletics, and he always wanted to be an athletic director. I mean, he talked about it when he was in high school.
Really?
Wow. I thought he got hit in the head or something when he talked about that. But, he always wanted to be an athletic director. And that was something he had talked about as a kid. And, he followed up on it and did a lot of coaching, started Egg Harbor Township coaching with Gary Schultz, which was a tremendous experience. He couldn't have started with anybody any better. Him and George Wilkinson and those guys. And then he came when the Southern job opened. The assistant coaches got hired before I did. They were hiring a lot of teachers over there at the time because they put another extension on the building. So he was actually hired before I got hired over there, along with a couple other guys on our staff. So it's been a great experience. He's done a good job, and we have a relationship at work, and we have a relationship at home, and I think we've both been able to handle that pretty good. So from the standpoint of that, it's probably easier to handle him than a lot of the kids are. I mean, they still get to you once in a while.
Good stuff as always, Coach. We always appreciate talking football with the Donohues. So thanks for taking a few minutes. Enjoy your holiday weekend, buddy.
Thank you very much. Same to you guys.
All right, have a good one,
Bye-bye.
Coach.
Thank you.
That was legendary Southern Regional Coach Chuck Donohue Sr. Always enjoy talking some football with him. We go on for hours with that guy, man.